Welcome to the Bufc Corner podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by our new chairman Gareth and our vice chairman Chris. Chris, this is your second appearance, so obviously one more will give you the match ball. But thank you for coming on. Gareth, of course, could you just take us through obviously the new announcement and sort of your thoughts on it and how pleased are you?
Yeah, very excited to be here. I've come here a couple of times in the past. Firstly with Ware, back in 2015-16 I think it was, pre-season friendly, and I was immediately struck with the friendliness of the place and the professionalism. Meeting Tracy, she has been a rock since I met her from the day one, since I took over London Colney last season. She was at the end of the phone to help me and guide me on a few things, and that reeks of class to me. The fact that somebody would go out of their way to put the time and effort in for a different club just spoke volumes. It really did. And then we had a pre-season friendly. No, it wasn't pre-season friendly. Sorry, we played you a couple of times last season, and it was probably the only time that London Colney have been absolutely turned over by a team. And I was just so impressed by the professionalism of the boys again that came down, the way they conducted themselves. And I've got to be honest, I was trying to poach Guillaume to London Colney. We'd known of each other from my goalkeeping academy in Biggleswade, and I got in touch about a couple of goalkeepers and asked him, what would it take for me to get you down to London Colney? And he just went, oh no, what would it take for me to get you to Biggleswade United? And it was like, oh. And that's how it all came about, literally from there. And he put a proposition to me, and it was a no-brainer, and that was it.
Obviously, you two will be working sort of side by side. How long have you known Chris? I'm sure you two are the
too long
best friends now.
It's only been about 4 weeks.
I think I'm on the phone to him more than my wife. So no,
we chat a fair bit actually.
We do. No, it's good. It's a great relationship, to be fair. From the time we first met. Exchanged text messages the same night, I think it was. I like to think we've clicked. You might think different.
Yeah, definitely.
He came to me with a sponsorship opportunity that he'd had in the pipeline, and lo and behold, within about 2 weeks, we managed to sign it off, box it off, which benefits the club massively, which will be announced in the next 4 to 6 weeks. From my point of view, Chris has got to be commended for the work and the effort he's put in for the last 4 years. Now let him have a little bit of a rest and let somebody else come in and take the helm for a little while.
Now, Chris, obviously, as Gareth just mentioned, 4 years. Why have you taken the decision to obviously move away from the chairman role?
Just some personal things just going on that just taking up my time. Obviously, Biggleswade is done on a voluntary basis, as everyone here can testify, and as a result I need to set aside some more time to do that. So with all the duties that I've done up until sort of recently at Biggleswade, I won't be able to continue juggling with that with the other things I've got going on. So I took the decision back in November, December I think it was, to step aside, and since then it's been a case of finding someone to fill that role. So
he comes in.
This man steps up. as mad as he probably is for stepping up, he's coming to the club, and as you say, we've clicked really well actually. Fortunately, we have very similar ways of thinking on a lot of issues. We're both fairly pragmatic in the way that we want to go ahead with the club. We realise that there's a big vision in the club that we want to try and achieve, and as much as we like to try and get there in a certain way, sometimes we might have to deviate away from that and find the path to get to that that end vision. So there's always going to be elements, I'm sure, in the future that we'll probably disagree on a few things, but fortunately so far we've connected on lots of different subjects. And as he said, there's there'll be a new sponsorship deal that's going to be advertised fairly soon, which will be a real big one, and it will be a fantastic addition to the Biggleswade family, as it were. So hopefully we'll be able to announce that in good time.
Obviously, what are your ambitions moving forward for this club?
We are, in my eyes, a football league club in non-league surroundings. So if I can deliver the ultimate goal of trying to get us a home that is suitable for the job, then I've done my job. That'll be fantastic. I mean, from the physio department to the media department, to the first team structure, down all the way down to the youth team, it just reeks of professionalism. Unfortunately, Second Meadow isn't big enough to sustain all that. So we're looking to try and grow, whether that be a new stadium, whether we can develop this site. It's juggling things at the moment and finding out what's best for the club, what's right for the club moving forward. But ultimately, it's finding somewhere that can sustain and take forward what we've got.
How far do you think we are away from the level you want us to be at?
I use Stevenage as the benchmark. I mean, Stevenage were the same level as we were. I think they're the United Counties League, which is the next league across. You know, and less than 15 years ago, they were where we are. They won the league. They've gone up. They've done things the right way. So we've got to look at their model and say, you know, can we replicate it, but at the same time keep our own brand? Because there is something special about Biggleswade United. That's what attracted me in the first place. The fact that it's a family club was paramount to me. I've said all along when I got involved in football, the dream was to have my daughter, my two sons running around a football pitch so I can indulge my hobby on a Saturday. You know, and the wife's involved as well, so she's not too mad that I'm not there on a Saturday as well as Monday to Friday at work. But yeah, we're there. We just haven't got the home. That's all it is.
And a bit of cash.
A bit of cash would be nice. A bit of cash would be nice.
Obviously, for the next season, what are your aims? Are you looking to, obviously, do you think we can break into that top 3, top 4 sort of bracket? Or is it more of a longer process than that?
My head says no, my heart says yes. I mean, it's going to be a tough act to follow from Christian and Stuart. They've had the boys for pretty much the same boys for 3 years. Jimmy and Jason have got to start again. They're starting from the beginning. They've got their new ideas. They've got new techniques. It's going to take a while to bed in, to gel in. And yes, it's not going to be a quick fix. If we can maintain where we finish this season, be there or thereabouts, I would see that as a success in the first season, definitely. Off the pitch, we're moving forward every week, every day, every month. There's always something that's moving the club forward, which is great to see. And it'll only be a matter of time before the two come together and the whole thing will click.
Chris, obviously you've worked alongside with Christian. How much do you think you'll be missed by the club?
I think Christian's had a massive impact and Stu and the rest of the coaching team as well, to be fair. A lot of them have had a massive impact on the club. As much as anything, because I think it's set the benchmark of this is the absolute minimum that we need to be working at now. From here, we need to go forward. So it set the precedent, and this is, in terms of professionalism, the way that we act, the way that we conduct ourselves, the way that we play, the way that we perform. This has to be the absolute minimum we will accept, no less. And I think it's helped to build the identity of what Biggleswade United is, which is very much a coaching-based club. We want to develop people from within the club, whether that's from a football perspective or whether that's behind the scenes, you know, working with people in the media team, etc. We want to develop people, and as a result, that's set the brand of what Biggleswade United is. So I think their impact has been huge, because it's helped to set the benchmark of where we are and where we need to go to. So they will be missed undoubtedly, but the new coaching team we've got in is fantastic. I mean, it's, in terms of qualifications, it pretty much, I think, and experience, I think it mirrors what we've has moved away from the club. So actually, we're in no worse situation, certainly, and there are lots of things that the new coaching team brings that, you know, can only be a positive and can only push on from where we've been previously. So I'm really excited with how it's going to go over the next 12 months.
So with the academy, you touched on, it's a coaching sort of impetus on the club. Is that a specific dream of yours, to have a player come from the under-8s and work all the way through?
Oh, what a buzz that will be if we've got an under-6 who's worked his way. We've got the clear pathway now from the under-6s all the way through to the first team. What a day that's going to be when we've got a young lad that's worked his way all the way up. It'll be fantastic. I think we'll all have a smile on our face, won't we? I mean, some more than others that have been there from the very beginning when it was started. To me, that'll hopefully be there to see the end of that reward. So,
hopefully we'll be in the Football League by the time they get to the first team.
That'd be nice. But no, I think the appointment of Jimmy just goes to show that the club isn't afraid to take risks. It mirrors what we're doing with the youth team. We believe in giving youth a chance. I mean, he's young compared to me.
28, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Wise old head on his shoulders as well. I've spent a bit of time with him over the last 4 weeks, and I think he's fantastic. No, he is. He's a fantastic guy. Jason, that's coming in with him as well. He's 36, 37. Just finished his playing career. Been around the non-league for a long time. Knows players, which is paramount at this level.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Same as Jimmy from his coaching roles at Stevenage and now at MK Dons. I think it's the right appointment and it's exciting times.
The age of Jimmy, some people may see that as an issue. 28, is he in your eyes mature enough to be a coach? And it is a very bold move, isn't it, from Biggleswade to appoint someone so young?
It is a bold move, but sometimes you've got to take risks. Risk take reward, reap the reward. But yeah, he's a wise old head on young shoulders.
I think he's got good coaching experience. I mean, he's been at Stevenage for 5 years.
Yeah.
I think coaching their academy, and as you say, he's been partnered by someone that's played two or three divisions up from where we are, isn't he, with the assistant. So I mean, it's not like he's lacking experience from that perspective. I think, to be honest with you, I think if you're good enough, you're old enough. And there's a certain amount whereby it may well be that there are certain things that happen in this level of football, in adult football, that maybe doesn't happen in the academy. But that's why he's got the rest of the coaches around him to help him with that. If there's any particular issues of dealing with adults, that doesn't quite happen when you're dealing with sort of 17, 18, 16-year-olds. Those sort of things will iron themselves out, and I'm sure he will bed in extremely quickly. He's a very capable guy.
He's good.
Obviously, his assistant Jason, as you said, has been around the block for many years now. How important is that sort of experience that he's been a player himself?
It's a massive important, especially at this level. He's done it all. He was captain of the Ware team that won the league, a couple of leagues higher in 2006, 2007, I think it was. Hamill, Hitchin, Barton Rovers. He's well respected in the league as well. Everybody that has played with him has got a lot of time for him. He's there for Jimmy to lean on if need be and to lend support. So I think the two will mirror each other really, really well.
And obviously, it is a change in the whole coaching stuff. What would you see as a successful season next year?
I think I would like to see us push on and get up towards the top six. I think because we're not actually that far away. If you look at the points, I mean, we had a bad start to the year last season, and if you take that out of the equation, actually, we weren't that far off. So I think it's not inconceivable to push into the top six, particularly if we can improve our away form, because that was one of our real Achilles heels last year. And I know Jimmy's been looking at the way that our style of football, and it may well be that we have to adapt that to play on certain pitches away from the ground that maybe aren't quite so great and don't allow for the type of football that we want to play. And I think he's keen to sort of try and diversify that a little bit. So I think when you take all those things into consideration, the top six finish, for me, I don't think is unrealistic. It just depends on whether we can bring in a few players and what have you. But it would be nice to win a cup, even just one of the local ones as well. So I think top six and maybe a final, I think that would be a good first season. At the end of the day, if he doesn't achieve it, it's not the end of the world. He's not going to be booted out the door if we don't finish in the top 10 or anything. So, it will be what it will be, and we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But as long as we progress, then that's enough for the moment.
I think the key for me is how quick you can get the players to gel. The ones that have come back from the season just gone, the new ones that come in, how well they bed together. As I say, Christian and Stu had a couple of years, 2-3 years with the same players, so they become quite close-knit, used to the way they work. So now with a new couple of faces to freshen things up, it's how quick they can get to grips with Jimmy and Jason's style of play.
Do you feel the club has a buzz again? Obviously, Gareth's here, you've got a new manager, new coaching staff, there'll probably be a few players. Do you feel like it's a rejuvenated feel within Biggleswade?
No, I don't, only because last year was the highest you've ever finished, so that was a buzz.
3 seasons in a row.
3 seasons in a row. We've always bettered ourselves, which is fantastic. So there's always a buzz. The buzz was there already. Whether a new management team raises the expectation a little bit, possibly, but no, I don't think there's any less of a buzz now than there was at the end of the season. So.
I think people are interested to see how it will pan out, because ultimately, I'd say the coaching team that we had previously has been here for a while, and everyone knew them and they knew what they were about, and they had a good reputation within the league. So I think there's an element whereby, whether it's fans of Biggleswade or whether it's clubs in the league, I think they're interested to see how things will work out, because, as you say, it's quite a bold move to appoint a 28-year-old, but he's a very capable 28-year-old. So, we'll see how that works. But yeah, I don't think there's any less of a buzz than there's always been. I think, if anything, it's a new era, and we're just looking to push on as quickly as we can and make real strides.
Obviously, we've got pre-season coming up. The excitement starts there.
Can't wait.
Teams like Brighton and MK Dons.
Not keen at all.
Yeah.
It's too long away. It's too long. I know we only finished last week, but come on.
How sort of excited are you to see, obviously, Jimmy as the manager as he begins his preparation?
Oh, I can't wait to see that. Pre-season is going to be fantastic. I mean, we've got some big names coming down, which is always good to see, and thank you for those clubs for doing it. I think the boys are going to find it tough. They're going to be coming up against some young players, so they're going to have to work hard. Definitely, we'll get the fitness will be up to scratch pretty soon. They're going to be doing a lot of chasing. But yeah, no, I think it's a good pre-season. To be fair to Christian and Stu and Guillaume, everything was pretty much sorted for Jimmy before we came in. We didn't want him, or they didn't want him to have to deal with all this, as well as taking on a new appointment. So it was done so that he could just come in, focus on his team, focus on the players. The games are all sorted, training venues have all been pre-planned, pre-booked. Everything's placed for him. So yeah, from my point of view, a big well done to Christian and Stuart for not just thinking, I'm leaving at the end of the season and I'm not going to get involved. But yeah, they've really dug in there with Guillaume and done us proud.
Obviously, they're playing against teams like Brighton, and it's an under-18 side. How great is that experience given the level of the league we're in?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I think it'll be a challenge for them. I mean, obviously they're under 18s of a Premier League side. They're going to be very, very capable, but it's going to be a situation for them. They're coming to a ground it's going to be completely different to what they're used to. The surface is not going to be anywhere near what they're used to. The football at this level tends to be a bit more rough and ready, and there's actually a lot of physicality at this level that I think players in the divisions above, particularly in sort of the Premier League and the Championship and those sorts of teams in the under 18s, those academy footballers, I don't think they're quite aware of quite how physical the football can sometimes be at this level. So I think it will be a learning curve for them, because I mean, I'm sure they'll do very well, and no doubt they'll put in a good performance, and it'll be difficult for us because they're going to be very, very high quality players. But it will be a learning curve for them as much as it will be for us. So I think there's going to be elements that both teams are going to learn something from it. But as you say, we've got Brighton coming down, we've got MK Dons under 18s as well, and a few other very capable teams. So it'll be interesting to see how the team gets on. As you say, it's a new coaching team, so hopefully they'll bed in quickly.
I've got a smile because it just reminded me of a game I watched last season. A player just pinged a beautiful 30-yard pass right to somebody's foot. It couldn't have got any better. Beautiful first touch, lovely cross. Centre forward didn't score, unfortunately, but it was just a fantastic move, and it was just a little. And then this guy does a 30-yard dash after he's lost the ball. Absolutely clatters this winger who's taking it off him, and all the crowd are like, yeah, come on, man. And that just goes to show what we're dealing with at our level. It is there is football to be played, but I think people appreciate more the rough and tumble and brute force that is at this level, and might not be at academy level. So it'll be a test for both to see. I mean, they're going to be young, they're going to be fit, a lot fitter than we are, because they train every day. So it'd be great to see how they cope with that.
I remember when we played Stevenage under 18s team, I think it was a couple of seasons ago in pre-season, and it was exactly that same situation. They were coming in thinking, wipe the floor with this one. I think we beat them 2-0 or 2-1 or something. And you should have heard their manager at half time absolutely going off on one, like absolutely digging into the play, because they weren't expecting it, to be fair. But it's what it's like at this level. Players do work hard, and they are a lot physical, a lot more physically stronger and fitter and quicker than I think people at the upper echelons of football realise, and it won't be a walk in the park for them from a physical point of view. So we'll see how they get on.
No, I think at our level as well, players are a lot more match savvy. Under 18 players have only played at academy level, with all due respect, and they play a certain way, and every other academy kind of plays the same way. Whereas this, where we are, you can have a bibbly-bobbly pitch one day, you can have a nice flat pitch another, you play long ball, you can play it short. These guys have to do everything, you know, for want of a better word. They have to play all kind of ways. So yeah, like you say, I don't think that it's going to be a walkover in any way, shape or form. But at the same time, it's going to be tough. So, but looking forward to seeing it.
How important is it for Biggleswade to have a good pre-season going into what is Jimmy's first season with the club?
I've never taken much precedent in pre-season. To be fair, I've been involved where we've lost every game and then gone 4 games unbeaten at the start of the season. At where 2 years ago we beat Peterborough's first team, Dagenham's reserve team, drew with Enfield, Harlow, all teams. But I mean, we looked at it and thought, wow, we've had the best pre-season we could possibly have. These players are absolutely phenomenal. If we don't win this league, we're doing something wrong. First game of the season, we got beat 6-2. It was like, oh my lord, how have we played like that after we've just gone and played against all this? So I think for Jimmy, it will be a case of getting them fit, getting them used to the way that he wants to play. Results, I don't think are really important as long as we've not been absolutely steamrolled, which I don't think is going to happen. I think it's just about, you know, getting the methods in place and the tactics in place and getting used to each other.
I think, as you say, the results aren't the important thing. As long as the performance is there and the players are listening to what the coaches are asking them and implementing. Because at the end of the day, a pre-season friendly, you could be asking the players just to work on 1 or 2 things. The result doesn't matter. But if you're giving them instruction, just practice these 1 or 2 things. We don't care if you lose. As long as you implement this, you might go out and lose 6-0 and everyone might be, oh, we've lost 6-0, but actually the coaches have got out of that game what they wanted to come out of it. So I think, because ultimately you've got to think much longer term, so providing the players put in good performances, the coaches are happy, then from a pre-season point of view, that's the important thing, I think.
Well, thank you for coming in. We do hope next year will be a big success. But,
It'll be a
thank you
roller
very much
coaster
for coming onto the podcast.